statistically insignificant for an unqualified woman to make it through the ranks, even with diversity programs, than it is with a man where there are no diversity programs? What is the question? The question is that lots of unqualified women are getting into roles because of diversity programs. So I think it makes sense to have an objective conversation about this using stats and data. So I promise thick and straight, my very last point is going to be a lot of fun. Now, if you look at the question has one underlying premise. It's the belief that hiring is based on meritocracy. This is hilarious because, quite frankly, being in corporate one day, you will know that hiring is one of the most subjective things that happens right now. It's barely in a place of meritocracy. Let's put a pin in this point. I'll come back and expand on this point at the very end. This same thing actually happens to Black and brown people that make it into Ivy League institutions. So a typical Black man that will make it to Harvard, that will consistently get told he's only there because of diversity. Now, never mind that there is an actual minimum academic requirement for you to get into Harvard. And if Harvard has decided that they want to round off their student body, which is to have people in there with different experiences and different ways of viewing the world, does that make that Black candidate any less qualified? Now let's look at the fact that it's statistically likelier that a man who is unqualified will be more able to rise to the ranks to a C-level position than a woman is. The data has shown us again and again that women will only apply for roles when they at least have 80 to 100% of the requirements that are being asked. We also know that men will apply for jobs that they have 10 to 15% of their skill sets for. So tell me, which mediocre group is more likely to rise to the top? Layer on top of that the fact that MIT people I just read that says that women are 14% less likely to receive promotions than their male counterparts. And then layer on top of that, there are about 8% of women of color in C-level, top-level roles, and there are about 20%, 21% of white women. We are barely making it through the door. How do you think that unqualified people, mediocre people are actually precipitating to the top? But let's go back to my first point on hiring. Now, I'm going to read you some data. In a McKinsey report, it's found that companies with more than 30% women executives are more likely to outperform companies where the percentage range from 10 to 30%. And in turn, those companies were more likely to do better than those that had less than 10% diversity in their rooms. So, if profit is the aim of the company, and we have data that shows that more diverse teams outperform less diverse teams, does it not make logical sense that diversity be part of the hiring criteria? I mean, just think about it for a second. Then we have another report from the Boston Consulting Group, which says companies with more diverse management teams have 19% higher revenues due to innovation. And this is significant in the tech industry and startups. Does it not make sense for diversity to be part of the hiring criteria? My final thoughts. The Harvard Business Review says that statistically, women have higher leadership scores than men. So let me go a little bit further. If this is what's happening, the bigger problem is not that unqualified women are making it through the ranks to high positions, that it is that unqualified men have a pathway to the top, taking away positions from more qualified women. And then by final sort of rounding off, the Financial Times reported that the research shows that, I'll read this to you, when a room has 30% women in it, men will perceive it as 50-50. When the room is 50-50, men will perceive this as being outnumbered. I wonder if that's affecting how people are seeing things. The more diversity programs are bringing more equity into the workplace. I leave you with these words. It is statistically insignificant and actually harder for an unqualified woman to make it through the ranks, even with diversity programs. Think about that.